Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So today we're going to be talking about cheap displays in loose cars. So a little bit of background on this. I used to be pretty big into loose cars. Everything I had, even supercharger Huns, RLCs, I used to open everything. And I've accumulated quite the loose car collection. Also doesn't help that I got a bunch of kids and they also love opening stuff, even to this day. So my solution to this, I resorted to the Hot Wheels display. So this is the mini version of it, but you guys all know there is a larger version of this that holds 48 to 50 cars. They retail for about $50 and you do get an exclusive car out of it. I know originally it released with an 83 Silverado, then it went to a 510, then a Gasser. I think currently it's on a Mercedes, and you can actually get this all off the RLC Mattel Creations website. So I resorted to buying 6 or 7 of the 48 count Hot Wheel displays, and at first it was cool. At first, you know, I didn't mind the design. It looked very professional, looked very sleek. It's got the orange track, so very tailor-made for Hot Wheels. But then my wife and I decided that we wanted to move, and again, you can imagine I had 6 or 7 of these things on the wall. They're big, they're bulky, at this point they're super dusty, and I honestly just thought they looked terrible after a while. You know, they're not very transportable. You put cars in there, and again, they're meant to be displayed, but you know, they have all the functionality to roll. You know, as dumb as I am, I actually took these off the wall with the car still in them, and you can imagine all my cars just slammed into each other. The other thing that I always hated about these displays from Hot Wheels is that typically on this bottom layer of cars, you can't see the bottom half of the car, especially if you have these at a higher height on your wall. So you can't see the full car. You kind of miss like the bottom portion as well as the, you know, the bottom half of the wheels of the car. So if you have like a really neat RLC or something with Row Riders, you can't see it. So needless to say, I took all 6 or 7 of these displays down, took all the cars out, dumped them into a bin like this, and I got rid of them. But then I was stuck with a bunch of loose cars, and during the move, I didn't have any other option but to just stick all these loose cars into bins like this, and brought them over to my new house, and they've been sitting in bins like this. I've had 6 or 7 of these bins, and they're just sitting in my basement, and I had no good way of displaying any of these cars or what to do next with them. So you can see, I don't know if you guys can relate, but just the whole bin of cars. But I needed a solution, and after some time, you know, just running from store to store, hunting, what have you, and I came across this thing. So this is, you can get this at Dollar Tree. It's $1.25, I think $1.30 after taxes, and it's exactly what I was looking for. It's small, it's lightweight. You can store 6 cars in each, and it already comes pre-drilled with holes so you can hang it. And the other bit of versatility that I do like with this is that you can display it on the wall in the upright position, but let's say you were to move, or let's say you just have a bunch of loose cars that you want to take to a meet or a show, you can lay the cars horizontally as well. Close it up, and yeah, they're still going to bang into the walls, but you know, the thing is you can still transport them to wherever you need to take them. So by my math, I needed 81 of these 6 car displays to fill up a spot on my wall. So I was essentially combing every Dollar Tree in town every week for the last month, and I finally got my goal. And I just remember it was funny, the cashiers would just look at me kind of odd because I would be buying up these by the trays. Each tray holds 16 of these displays, and you know, they would just look at me like, what are you doing with all these, right? But you know, nonetheless, I got them all, and yeah, let's jump over to my wall. You guys can see how I set up my display, and I will review my loose car collection. putting the last car in the last display on the wall. So I'll zoom back, you guys can get a better look at the whole deal. So again, every one of these was only $1.30. I got 81 of them. So that's a grand total of $105 to display 486 cars, which I feel like is a deal compared to the 48 count Hot Wheel display cases that are $50 a piece. I've never owned a Carney display case, but those are really pricey as well too. I think the last time I checked it was like 140 or 150 cars for like $160, right? So more than $1 per car. And my buddies and I, we always talk about this too. It's like you don't want your display to cost more than the cars that you're actually putting in it. And you can see I still have plenty of room left on the right side here to put other cars in as I, just find more interest in other cars. I'm able to open them up and put them into display. So let's just go through some of the highlights in my collection here. So again, no rhyme or reason. We got a little bit of everything from main lines, multi-packs, RLCs, premiums. The one thing I don't have in here are super treasure hunts. I will admit a bunch of these cars are my kids' cars and I just store them in here as they stop playing with them. Otherwise, I just walk all over them. A couple of custom cars in here too, and I don't know if you can call them custom, wheel swap cars, I guess. I used to have a little phase where I would wheel swap pretty much everything. Not too much of that nowadays, just don't really have the time for it. But again, a good mix. You got JDM, you got Euro, you got mystery models, Matchbox, car culture, some older stuff, some newer stuff. Feel free to leave it in the comments if you see anything interesting. I could always do a highlight later. But just wanted to give you guys a snapshot of a bunch of loose cars in my collection. I did also get a question about my wall display where I have loose cars inside of my sterling protectors, and I think there was a viewer just asking about does that damage the blister, and I personally haven't had any issues with that. But I guess the one thing I will say too is that now that I have this display, I've since took out all the cars in my sterling protectors, and I'm just placing loose cars in here and keeping my sterling protectors purely just for the carded cars. So that's what I got for you guys today. Just wanted to share my cost-conscious way of displaying these cars, a solution to a problem that I've been sitting on for quite some time. Let me know in the comments below if you have your own tips and tricks on displaying loose cars and doing it in a cost-effective manner. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on DieCash Cars.